Ladies and gentlemen, I must begin with a warning and an invitation. You have been told about the well-known principles of success: desire, faith, persistence. But what if I told you that the most powerful truths, the laws that separate those who merely dream from those who achieve, have been buried, ignored, or even suppressed? These are the lost laws of success, and I uncovered them through years of struggle, reflection, and a battle with the very force I once called the devil. Yes, you heard that right. There exists a sinister force, one that keeps men and women trapped in mediocrity, not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack awareness. In this message, I will expose those hidden truths, the forgotten forces that either push you toward greatness or pull you silently into failure. If you've ever felt like something was holding you back but couldn't name it, this is your wake-up call. Let us begin. 1, definiteness of purpose. If there is one truth I would carve into stone for every man, woman, and child to read for all time, it is this: without a definite purpose, you are nothing more than a drifting leaf on the wind of circumstance. Understand this, not as a poetic idea, but as a living law. Definiteness of purpose is more than simply having a goal. It is more than a career choice or a vague dream to be successful. It is the unwavering clarity of why you exist, what you are here to do, and the exact direction in which you intend to travel. Most people fail, not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they wander. They hope, they wish, they try a little of this and a little of that, but they never plant their flag into the ground and say, "This is who I am, this is what I will do, and nothing will move me from this course until it is done." I discovered through both triumph and agony that success only begins the moment you decide with absolute certainty what you want and why you want it. And let me tell you, the why is far more important than the what. A purpose without emotion is like a fire without fuel. Your purpose must stir your soul, or it will not survive the storms of life. Let no one deceive you. Life will test you. Circumstances will arise to shake your resolve. People will tell you to take the safer path, the easier route, the more reasonable compromise. But when your purpose is clear, when it burns within you like an unquenchable flame, no obstacle can defeat you, and no voice can distract you. You will be drawn forward by something greater than ambition. You will be moved by destiny. And here is the greatest secret. Once you declare your purpose, the universe itself begins to align with your vision. People, resources, and opportunities will appear that you could never have foreseen. But none of it begins without that first act of clarity. So I ask you now, what is your definite purpose? Not the one others gave you, the one that belongs to you, and you alone. Until you answer that question with certainty, success will remain a stranger. 2, mastery over fear. Fear is the silent killer of dreams. It whispers in the dark corners of your mind, disguising itself as caution, humility, or practicality. But make no mistake, fear is the most powerful weapon ever used against the human spirit. It is the chief tool of the devil, and I say that without apology. In my private writings, which you now know as Outwitting the Devil, I revealed this truth. The devil's greatest triumph is not in violence or chaos, but in convincing people to accept a life far smaller than the one they were meant to live. There are 6 primary fears that cripple the human race: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Each of these fears is a seed planted by repeated suggestion, by voices in our childhood, by institutions, by media, and by our own uncontrolled imagination. Left unchecked, they grow roots deep into the mind and create paralysis, hesitation, and self-doubt. Let me speak plainly. No man can achieve enduring success without first mastering fear. Fear cannot always be eliminated, but it can be dominated. And domination begins with awareness. You must call fear by its name. You must expose it to the light of truth. When fear is hidden, it controls you. When it is seen for what it is, a thief of potential, it loses its power. The devil feeds on drifting minds, and fear is the force that pushes people into the drift. A man who fears poverty will never take bold financial action. A woman who fears criticism will silence her voice and abandon her calling. Entire lives are wasted, not by laziness, but by fear dressed in the garments of reason. Courage, then, is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to obey it. When you understand that fear is not fact, but a story, you can rewrite the script. You can begin to live deliberately, act with faith, and move in spite of trembling. So I ask you this: what fear has kept you in place? Name it, face it, and then move forward anyway. For on the other side of that fear lies the life that was always waiting for you. 3, drifting versus definite living. If you remember nothing else I ever taught, remember this: drifting is the greatest enemy of success. It is the quiet destroyer of lives, the unseen current that pulls millions into mediocrity without them ever realizing they are drowning. In my interviews with the devil, yes, the symbolic force of failure, I discovered his most effective strategy: to cause men and women to drift through life, aimless, distracted, and reactive. A drifter is one who has no definite purpose, no fixed direction, no guiding principle. He wakes up each day without a plan, without intention, and allows circumstance to dictate his every move. He says yes when he should say no, and later when he should say now. He waits for permission. He hopes for luck. He follows the crowd. And because he lives by accident, he suffers by default. Make no mistake, drifting is not laziness. In fact, some drifters are very busy. They work hard. They talk fast. They chase one opportunity after another. But beneath all that movement, there is no center. They do not choose their path. They merely react to the world around them. The devil uses drifting to steal time, energy, and spirit from people who could have changed the world, if only they had chosen to. Contrast this with the man or woman who lives definitely. Such a person has a clear aim. Their thoughts are guided, their decisions deliberate. They choose their influences carefully. They spend time with purpose. They are not blown about by every new opinion, trend, or fear. They are captains of their own soul. Definite living is not about perfection. It is about possession. Possession of your mind, your actions, and your vision. When you live definitely, the devil has no power over you. You become immune to manipulation. You become magnetic, disciplined, and focused. You begin to live with momentum instead of hesitation. So let me ask you, are you drifting? Are you allowing the days to pass without direction, living from reaction to reaction, excuse to excuse? If so, decide now, this moment, to reclaim your mind. Draw a line, set a course, declare your purpose, and move toward it with unwavering intent. Drifting ends the day you begin to live with direction. That day can be today. 4, the hypnotic rhythm. There is a law, unseen, often misunderstood, but more powerful than gravity itself, that governs your daily life. I call it the hypnotic rhythm. And once it takes hold of you, it does not let go easily. It is the silent builder of habits, the automatic pilot of your thoughts, and the invisible force that determines whether you will rise to greatness or sink into defeat. Most people live under its control and don't even know it. Understand this: the mind, through repetition, forms grooves. Thoughts repeated often enough become beliefs. Actions repeated often enough become habits. And habits, once locked into motion, fall under the influence of hypnotic rhythm. This rhythm is neither good nor evil. It simply is. It amplifies whatever you feed it. If you repeatedly give in to fear, procrastination, or doubt, hypnotic rhythm will ingrain those patterns into your daily living. Before long, you will act in fear without even thinking. You will delay without realizing. You will sabotage your progress automatically. The devil uses this law to entrap the drifter. He feeds them small excuses, minor indulgences, tiny distractions, until those small things become permanent chains. But, and here lies your power, the same law that enslaves can also liberate. When you choose faith, discipline, clarity, and positive action, and repeat them daily, hypnotic rhythm goes to work for you. What begins as effort soon becomes ease. What once required conscious discipline becomes second nature. You no longer need to push forward. You are pulled forward by your own momentum. You must understand, success is not a single act but a rhythm. So is failure. And once that rhythm begins, it is exponentially harder to change. That is why urgency matters. That is why small daily decisions matter. Because each repetition, no matter how small, is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Ask yourself, what rhythms have I allowed into my life? What thoughts do I think on repeat? What actions have I performed so often that they now control me? If the answers disturb you, take heart. You can change the rhythm, but only through concentrated effort, consistency, and the will to endure discomfort. Start new habits. Break the old. Reclaim your mind before it moves too far in the wrong direction. Hypnotic rhythm is always working. The question is, for whom is it working today? 5, environmental influence. Show me the books on your shelf, the voices in your ear, the people you break bread with, and I will show you your future. You may believe yourself to be an independent thinker, a master of your mind. But let me tell you a hard truth. No one rises above the dominating influence of their environment for long. Your thoughts, your beliefs, even your desires. These are shaped not only by what you consciously choose, but by what you allow around you every day. The mind is like fertile soil. It does not care what seeds are planted, whether flowers or weeds. It will grow whatever is sown into it. And your environment is the constant gardener. The conversations you entertain, the music you listen to, the media you consume, the opinions of your peers, all of these are planting seeds in your subconscious, day and night, slowly, quietly, repeatedly. Most people never question this. They absorb the values of their surroundings without ever asking, do I want to think this way? Do I want to live this way? They become carbon copies of the people nearest to them, financially, emotionally, intellectually, without even realizing it. This is not weakness. It is nature. And nature does not take sides. It simply rewards what is consistent. If you surround yourself with people who drift, complain, fear, or settle, you will become like them. If your daily inputs are noise, gossip, fear-mongering, and triviality, your mind will reflect that chaos. But if you choose a different environment, one of vision, discipline, courage, and constructive thought, you will rise to meet it. Even if slowly, you will rise. This is why it is not enough to change your goals. You must change your surroundings. Your environment is the incubator of your destiny. Change the books, change the conversations, change the air you breathe. Find those who live with intent, who speak the language of success, who challenge you to grow, not in ego, but in spirit. Every day you are becoming someone, and every environment is helping decide who that someone will be. So I ask you now, what are you allowing around you? Is it lifting you, or is it limiting you? The choice is always yours, but the consequences, my friend, are automatic. 6, spiritual harmony. You may accumulate wealth, you may rise in status, you may even command attention and admiration from the world, but if you do so without alignment to your spiritual self, without harmony with the infinite intelligence from which all life flows, you will find yourself restless, anxious, and ultimately unfulfilled. True success begins and ends with spiritual harmony. I am not speaking of religion in the conventional sense. I am speaking of your connection to that silent guiding force within you, the part of you that knows beyond logic when something is right or wrong, when your actions align with purpose or betray it. This connection is not a superstition. It is the deepest source of power and clarity available to man, and it is available to all who seek it in earnest. In Think and Grow Rich, I spoke of the sixth sense, the creative faculty through which infinite intelligence speaks. In Outwitting the Devil, I revealed that the devil loses all power over the individual who lives in harmony with their spiritual source. Why? Because such a person cannot be manipulated by fear, greed, or vanity. They are anchored in something far greater than ego. They are moved not by impulse, but by inspired direction. Spiritual harmony brings stillness in chaos. It brings confidence without arrogance. It brings decisions made not in haste, but with inner knowing. And when you act from that space, when your thoughts, actions, and goals are aligned with what is right and true, life begins to cooperate with you. Synchronicity appears. Resources arrive. People cross your path at the perfect time. The world begins to reflect the order within you. But without spiritual harmony, you will chase shadows. You will build castles on sand. You may succeed in the eyes of man, but inside you will feel like a stranger to yourself. And the devil will feast on that inner conflict, feeding you pleasures that never satisfy and distractions that never end. To find spiritual harmony, you must listen more than you speak. You must spend time in silence, reflect, ask for guidance, and then be humble enough to receive it. Align your ambitions not just with what is possible, but with what is right. Let your conscience be your compass. You are not a machine. You are a spiritual being first. And when your success is built upon that truth, it will not just grow, it will endure. 7, controlled attention. Controlled attention is the hinge upon which every door to success swings. Without it, your plans remain ideas, your efforts remain scattered, and your days are spent spinning instead of progressing. Attention, my friend, is your greatest internal currency, and how you spend it will determine the riches or the poverty of your life. The devil knows this well, which is why distraction is one of his most effective tools. In Outwitting the Devil, I revealed how easy it is for the adversary to derail a man simply by fragmenting his attention. He does not need to destroy your dreams, only to divide your focus. A little temptation here, a meaningless argument there, constant noise, constant scrolling, endless interruptions disguised as urgent. And before you know it, your power is gone, not stolen, but leaked away by your own inattention. The truth is, the human mind is capable of extraordinary concentration. When directed toward a single objective with clarity and emotional intensity, it becomes a magnet for opportunity, ideas, and energy. But most people never experience this power because they never discipline their focus. They give equal time to what matters and what doesn't. They live reactively, responding to everything, mastering nothing. Controlled attention is the opposite. It is the deliberate, consistent directing of your mental energy toward a definite purpose. It means saying no to what is good so you can say yes to what is great. It means creating time to think, plan, and execute without interruption. It means becoming a guardian of your own mind. This is not just about productivity. It is about personal power. A focused mind is a free mind. It does not drift. It cannot be manipulated. It is not overwhelmed by the trivial because it is anchored in the essential. The man who controls his attention is not ruled by the world. He shapes it. If you find yourself tired, scattered, busy, but unproductive, ask yourself, where is my attention going? What am I feeding my mind each day? What have I allowed to steal my focus? Reclaim your attention, protect it, train it, use it like the laser it is meant to be, not diffused, but directed. For where your attention goes, your life will follow. Choose your focus, and you choose your future. 8, learning through adversity. If you expect to walk the path of success without stumbling, you are chasing a fantasy. Adversity is not a detour. It is the path itself. Every man who has ever risen to greatness has first knelt before defeat. It is in those low places, in the shadow of loss, rejection, and disappointment, that the soul is tempered, the mind is awakened, and character is forged in fire. You may not choose your hardships, but you can choose what they make of you. Defeat, contrary to what most believe, is not a signal to quit. It is a signal to learn. It strips away illusion. It reveals your weak points. It tests your faith in your purpose. And most importantly, it teaches you in ways that comfort never can. There are lessons that only pain can deliver. There are strengths you will never discover until everything familiar is stripped away. When I interviewed hundreds of the most successful men of my time, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, and others, I found a common thread. Each one had suffered tremendous failures. Not once, repeatedly. But they viewed those failures as necessary training grounds. Temporary defeats refined their vision, sharpened their resolve, and opened their eyes to better strategies. They did not curse adversity. They used it. In Outwitting the Devil, I exposed how the adversary exploits failure to create fear. When a man experiences defeat, the devil whispers that it is final, that he is unworthy, that he should give up. And those who listen become drifters. But those who think independently recognize defeat for what it is: feedback, education, a gift in disguise. When you meet adversity, do not ask, "Why me?" Ask instead, "What is this here to teach me? What belief must I strengthen? What habit must I break? What new door is this pain trying to open?" For every hardship carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit, but only if you seek it. The world does not reward those who avoid adversity. It rewards those who grow through it. You must develop the vision to see beyond the obstacle, the mindset to extract meaning from your pain, and the will to keep going even when the path is unclear. Your setbacks are not signs of failure. They are invitations to rise. 9, definiteness of decision. Indecision is the silent killer of dreams. It is the first crack in the foundation of success, a crack that, if left unchecked, will spread until it has crumbled your entire vision. Most people are familiar with the feeling of uncertainty, hovering between two choices, unsure which is the right one. But what they fail to recognize is that indecision is not just uncomfortable. It is destructive. It is the first step toward drifting. When you fail to make a decision, you allow external forces to make it for you. Life will push you in one direction or another. The whims of others, the tides of circumstance, the pull of your own doubts, these will all decide your path, and the path of indecision is rarely a straight one. It is a meandering road, filled with missed opportunities, regret, and confusion. Success, on the other hand, is built on definiteness of decision. When you make a choice with clarity and conviction, you send a powerful signal to your mind and to the universe that you are committed to your course. This act of decision cuts through the fog of uncertainty and sets you on a direct path toward your goals. The energy you spend wavering is energy wasted, but the energy you direct toward a firm decision multiplies, giving you momentum, focus, and drive. Those who succeed do not waste time deliberating endlessly over what to do next. They make a decision, then move forward with all the power they can muster. If the decision turns out to be wrong, they adjust and correct their course. But they do not remain stuck in indecision. They understand that action is far more powerful than hesitation. In Outwitting the Devil, I revealed how the devil uses indecision to enslave the soul. By keeping you paralyzed in doubt, he ensures you drift aimlessly through life. The devil knows that a man who is decisive is dangerous. He is unstoppable. He is focused. And this is why he seeks to cloud your judgment and keep you wavering between options, unable to commit to one course of action. So ask yourself, what decisions have you been putting off? Where have you allowed doubt to hold you back? Remember, the moment you make a firm decision, the universe moves to assist you. The power of commitment will unlock doors you never thought possible. Make the decision. Now your future depends on it. 10. Self-discipline as the gatekeeper. Self-discipline is the cornerstone upon which every other law of success is built. Without it, nothing else matters. You can have a clear purpose, a burning desire, and the best strategies, but without the ability to discipline yourself, those things will remain mere dreams. Discipline is the gatekeeper. And if you do not possess it, every other law is like a house without a foundation. It will crumble under the weight of your own weakness. In Outwitting the Devil, I revealed how the devil's greatest tool is to keep you undisciplined. Through distractions, temptations, and the lure of comfort, he keeps you from developing the habits necessary to succeed. He doesn't need to destroy your dreams. He only needs to steal your discipline. When you lack self-control, you drift. You give in to the whims of the moment, and the pursuit of your goals becomes a scattered, half-hearted effort. Discipline is not a matter of willpower alone. It is the ability to set your course and stay the course, no matter what temptations or distractions come your way. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term gratification. It is rising early when you want to sleep in, working hard when you'd rather rest, and resisting the pull of distractions that threaten to steal your time and energy. It is the ability to say no to the things that do not serve your higher purpose day after day until the habits of success are deeply ingrained in your character. The most successful people are not those who have the most talent or the best resources. They are the ones who can consistently follow through. They are the ones who can keep their promises, not just to others, but to themselves. They are the ones who understand that success is a process, not a single event, and that discipline is the daily fuel that drives that process forward. If you lack discipline, no amount of knowledge or strategy will save you. Success requires that you master the art of self-control. You must learn to make the right choices consistently, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. Self-discipline is not just about achieving your goals. It is about becoming the person who can achieve them. So ask yourself, how disciplined are you? Do you keep your promises to yourself? If not, take this moment to strengthen that resolve. Discipline is the gatekeeper that unlocks the door to success, and it is yours for the taking if you choose to develop it. 11th, use of time. Time, my friend, is the most valuable asset you possess. It is the one resource you can never replenish, the one thing that once gone can never be recovered. Yet too many people treat it as if it were an endless supply, frittering it away on distractions, meaningless pursuits, and idle chatter. Every day you wake up, you are given 24 hours, each one a gift, a golden opportunity to move closer to your goals. But how you use those hours determines everything about your success. In Outwitting the Devil, I exposed the devil's most insidious tactic, keeping you busy but not productive. By getting you caught up in trivial matters, he steals your time and energy, keeping you in a perpetual state of doing but never achieving. You may find yourself running from task to task, always busy, yet never moving closer to your purpose. The devil thrives on this. He feeds on your wasted time, knowing full well that when your time is squandered, your life slips through your fingers, unnoticed and unfulfilled. But time, used wisely, is the gateway to all that you desire. It is the fuel that powers your dreams. The most successful men and women in the world are not necessarily the busiest. They are the most deliberate with their time. They understand that time, like money, is a tool. When you learn to manage it, you gain control over your life. Every hour you spend in focused, intentional action brings you closer to your goals. Every hour wasted is an hour lost forever. The devil's trick is subtle. He doesn't ask you to spend your time on things that are obviously bad. He gets you to spend your time on things that are unimportant, unproductive, or simply distracting. Think about how much time is lost to television, social media, gossip, or meaningless small talk. These things steal your attention and your energy without offering anything in return. Mastering your use of time is the key to taking control of your life. You must guard it fiercely, protect it from distractions, and invest it wisely. Set aside time each day for focused work toward your goals. Learn to say no to things that do not contribute to your success. Schedule your time with intention and make sure every moment is working toward the life you want to build. Time is your most valuable asset. Don't let the devil trick you into wasting it. You cannot afford to squander a single moment. Treat each hour as if it were your last, for once it's gone forever. 12th, faith over logic. Faith is the most powerful force within you. It is the driving power behind every successful endeavor, the unseen energy that propels your thoughts and actions toward your goals. Faith is not merely a belief in something beyond yourself. No, it is a mental attitude, a conscious choice to trust in your ability to create your reality, even when evidence is lacking. It is a higher law, one that transcends the limitations of the physical world, the constraints of logic, and the limits of reason. In Outwitting the Devil, I revealed the secret that many people miss. Logic without faith is a trap. Logic alone keeps you grounded in the known, in the world of what is, what has been, and what seems possible based on past experience. While logic is essential for practical decision-making, it has its limitations. It can only work within the bounds of what has already been proven, and therein lies the danger. If you allow yourself to be confined by logic alone, you limit your vision. You cut off the very possibility of greatness because greatness lies outside the realm of logic. It is born from faith. Faith, on the other hand, does not depend on evidence. It is a belief in the unseen, the unproven, and the unimaginable. It is the ability to see beyond the physical limitations and to trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when you cannot see how. Faith allows you to take the first step, even when the path is unclear. It allows you to move forward in uncertainty, knowing that success is inevitable, even when you cannot explain exactly how it will unfold. When you combine faith with logic, you unlock limitless potential. Faith opens the door to new possibilities, while logic helps you navigate the path with wisdom and discernment. But when logic becomes your only guide, you risk becoming paralyzed by doubt and fear. Faith is the fire that lights the way through the unknown, while logic is the map that helps you stay on course. Without faith, the map is useless. It is only when you trust in the unseen that the steps ahead become clear. So I ask you, what vision are you holding back because logic tells you it is impossible? What dream are you putting off because you can't explain how it will happen? Faith is the spark that ignites your journey toward success. It is the key that unlocks the doors that logic cannot open. Trust in your vision, trust in your ability, and trust that the universe will guide you toward your destiny. 13th, power of cosmic habit force. The power of cosmic habit force is a universal law that governs the way your habits and thoughts shape your reality. It is a force that, once set in motion, becomes a driving power behind your actions, influencing every thought you have every decision you make, and every outcome you experience. This force is as real and pervasive as gravity, but it is often ignored or misunderstood. The force works through your habits, whether they are positive or negative, and it continuously reinforces the patterns you create in your life. When you form a habit, you are essentially creating a force that works automatically without conscious effort. Over time, this habit becomes ingrained, and the cosmic habit force takes over, strengthening your actions and thoughts. Whether your habits are constructive or destructive, the cosmic habit force will amplify them, making them more automatic and more difficult to break. If your habits are focused on success, self-discipline, and growth, this force will propel you toward your goals. But if your habits are rooted in fear, procrastination, or laziness, the force will push you further into stagnation, making it harder for you to break free. In Outwitting the Devil, I describe how the devil uses this force to trap you in negative habits, creating an invisible chain that holds you back from achieving greatness. He works through your inertia, getting you to drift and adopt the habits of mediocrity. The cosmic habit force is so powerful that once you establish a negative habit, it can take years to overcome it. On the other hand, once you adopt positive habits, those that align with your vision and purpose, the cosmic habit force begins to work in your favor, driving you toward success with an unstoppable momentum. The key to harnessing the power of this law is awareness and intentionality. You must recognize that the habits you form today will shape your life tomorrow. Every thought, every action, and every decision you make compounds over time, either reinforcing a life of mediocrity or accelerating you toward greatness. The cosmic habit force is neutral. It will reinforce whatever you feed it, so you must consciously choose to feed it the right habits. By focusing on developing good habits and disciplining your mind, you can align the cosmic habit force with your desires, turning it into a powerful ally. Consistency is the key. Repetition of positive habits will gradually shift the force in your favor, creating a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. Understand this: your habits today are your destiny tomorrow. 14. Applied knowledge versus accumulated knowledge. Knowledge in and of itself holds no true power. It is only when knowledge is applied that it begins to transform your life. So many people spend their lives accumulating information, reading books, attending seminars, and listening to experts, yet they fail to apply the wisdom they acquire. They gather knowledge as if it were a badge of honor, but without action. All that information is nothing more than wasted potential. Knowledge unused is wasted potential. The key distinction here is between accumulated knowledge and applied knowledge. Accumulated knowledge is simply the gathering of facts, data, and information. It can come from books, lectures, or even personal experiences. However, it is only when you take that knowledge and apply it to real-world situations that it becomes powerful. Applied knowledge is the force that drives you to take action. It is what separates the dreamers from the achievers, the thinkers from the doers. Without the application of what you know, your knowledge is inert, a tool gathering dust in the corner, waiting for you to pick it up and put it to use. In Outwitting the Devil, I highlight the importance of action over mere theory. The devil thrives on the procrastination that stems from endless accumulation of knowledge without application. He keeps people in a state of learning without ever taking the leap to implement what they've learned. This is the essence of drifting, gathering knowledge without ever using it to change your life. The devil knows that as long as you're stuck in the cycle of gathering without doing, you remain powerless. You remain stagnant, going through the motions, never advancing. The truly successful people in the world are those who understand the power of applied knowledge. They take what they learn and immediately put it to work. They use their knowledge to solve problems, to create value, and to move themselves closer to their goals. Whether it's in business, relationships, or personal growth. It is the application of knowledge that drives progress. Knowledge is only a tool, a means to an end. It is the action you take with that knowledge that determines your success. So ask yourself, what knowledge have you accumulated that you are not yet applying? How can you begin to take action on the wisdom you already have? Don't let your knowledge become wasted potential. Apply it and watch as it transforms your life, propelling you toward your greatest success. 15, recognizing and neutralizing the devil's influence. The devil's influence is a subtle force operating behind the scenes of our lives, often in ways we don't even recognize. His greatest weapon is not direct control, but the power of suggestion, planting seeds of doubt, fear, and confusion in our minds. In Outwitting the Devil, I reveal that the devil's primary goal is to keep us from realizing our true potential, to trap us in the cycle of drifting, where we are controlled by our circumstances, our fears, and our unexamined thoughts. But there is good news. By developing awareness, exercising free will, and gaining inner clarity, we can recognize and neutralize his influence. The first step in neutralizing the devil's influence is awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts that cross your mind, the fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs that hold you back. The devil works through your unconscious mind, planting negative thoughts that seem like your own, but they are not. When you are unaware of these thoughts, you become a passive participant in your own life, allowing the devil's whispers to shape your reality. But when you become aware of these thoughts and see them for what they are, false and limiting, you take the first step in breaking free from his grip. Free will is the next crucial element in defeating the devil's influence. The devil can only control you if you allow him to. He thrives when you surrender your will and let him guide your actions. But free will is your God-given ability to choose. Every day you are presented with choices, whether to act on your fears or rise above them, whether to succumb to doubt or stand firm in your beliefs. The devil cannot take your free will unless you give it to him. By exercising your free will, you can choose to reject the negative influence of fear, doubt, and negativity. You can choose to take action toward your goals, regardless of the obstacles the devil tries to place in your path. Finally, inner clarity is the weapon that neutralizes the devil's influence. When you are clear on your purpose, when you know who you are and what you stand for, the devil's influence becomes much weaker. Inner clarity gives you the strength to see through the devil's tricks and avoid the distractions he uses to lead you astray. With clarity, you become focused, determined, and unwavering in your pursuit of success. The devil's tactics, fear, confusion, and distraction, have no power over someone who is clear in their vision and committed to their purpose. By cultivating awareness, exercising your free will, and gaining inner clarity, you can recognize and neutralize the devil's influence. It is not a one-time battle, but a daily practice. Each time you face fear, doubt, or temptation, you have the opportunity to choose freedom, to stand firm in your power, and to break free from the devil's grip. The moment you take control of your mind and actions, you become unstoppable. As we come to the end of this exploration of the lost laws of success, remember this: the power to shape your destiny lies within you. By recognizing these principles and applying them daily, you unlock the path to greatness. You are the architect of your own future, and the wisdom shared here is your blueprint. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Embrace these laws, take action, and transform your life. Success is not a matter of luck, it's a matter of choice. Stay focused, stay committed, and remember, your greatest success is yet to come.